Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Exera Duo Charging Dock by uNu. Now in case you didn't know, uNu makes some pretty cool gadgets for your mobile electronics, and specifically they come up with innovative power solutions for your mobile devices. So we're going to take a closer look at the Dual Charging Dock, see how it performs in the real world, and decide for ourselves if it's a product worth buying. The dual charging dock was specifically designed to recharge the battery cells used in the Exera protective battery case for the iPhone 4 and 4S. And after I bought the charger, I also discovered that it's compatible with the Samsung Galaxy S2 as well. So here's what it looks like straight out of the box. A charging cable is included, and as you can see, it's USB to micro USB. I've zoomed in a bit so that we can see for ourselves what the cable looks like. There's just so many cables out there that sometimes it's a little bit hard to tell. It's good that it's a standard cable, so if you happen to lose it, you can always replace it. Also included in our purchase are 2 lithium polymer battery cells. They're rated at 3.7 volts and at a capacity of 1700 milliamps. What that means is that just one of these battery cells will provide up to 7 hours of talk, 10 hours of music, 6 hours of using your apps like web browsing or whatnot, and 270 hours of standby time. Translation? Well, with the uNu battery cell, you could use your iPhone for twice as long before having to recharge them again. And finally, we have the star of the show. The Dual Charging Dock by uNu is made from ABS plastic with a glossy white finish. Here we see the micro USB port. I'll give it a quick spin and take a look at one of the indicator lights. There are 2 total, and they alternate between red and green depending on what you're doing with the unit. Here we have a standard USB 2.0 output port, and as we come full circle we see the last LED indicator light, and as I flip to the unit to the underside we see that the entire bottom is rubberized. It's an intelligent design because you don't want the unit to slip around while you're using it. Looking from the top, we see both battery charging slots 1 and 2, and it's apparent that these 4 connector pins charge the battery cells that come with the unit. When measuring each battery cell, we see that it is nearly 2 inches wide and a little bit over 2 inches long, and in terms of thickness it's only about 1/4 of an inch. When measuring the actual charging dock itself, we see that it has a diameter of roughly 3 inches, and the unit itself is nearly 1 inch thick. Functionally speaking, nothing is more annoying than a short and clumsy cable. Luckily, our cable is nearly 2 feet long. Now if you're like me and you're always on the go, then I'm sure you'll agree that it's much more convenient to be a light traveler. And as we see here, the dock itself is a little bit less than 2 ounces, which is not a huge burden considering what it does. And the slim battery cell by itself is just a little bit over 1 ounce. Over the years, I've definitely come to appreciate gadgets that have a small form factor and footprint, and that's one of the things that I really do like about the dual charging dock. And if you put everything together, the whole system is only 4 ounces. Operating the system is simple and virtually dummy proof. The only thing you have to remember is that if you intend to use the system to its fullest capabilities, it's best to plug it into a wall adapter like I've done here. Just plug the USB end into the adapter and the micro USB end into the micro USB port on the charger. Once the charger is plugged in, you'll see that the indicator lights immediately turn green. This indicates that the unit is powered, and we can also see the lights glowing from the top as well. There are no on and off switch, and it's a matter of just plug and play. Then you want to grab one of the slim batteries and make sure you know where the connectors are so that you can align it with the connectors in the charger itself. Once they're aligned, just pop the battery in and it should snap into place. You'll notice now that the indicator lights turn red versus green over here when nothing is charging, and that's to let you know that the battery is now being charged. The great thing about the dock is that it could charge 2 batteries at the same time, and to charge the second battery you would basically just repeat what you did for the first battery, making sure that the connectors are touching. And that's why the unit's virtually dummy proof, because if the connectors were not touching, you wouldn't get a red light at all. So in a nutshell, all you've got to do is just pop, lock, and drop it. Each battery takes roughly 4 to 5 hours to get a full charge, and you can save a significant amount of time by charging both at the same time. Now you might be wondering, what about that USB port on the other side? Well, the unit is also capable of charging your iPhone at the same time while charging both batteries. What's more, if you've got your Exera case on, it'll charge your phone, the battery inside the case, and both slim cases at once. I've got my iPhone sync cable in, so we'll just charge the iPhone for now. But just know that you can charge the phone with the Exera case on as well. And that's because the dock supports serial charging, which is basically protection against overheating from charging multiple products simultaneously. You can see that as soon as I plug in my iPhone, the dock will start to blink red and green to indicate that it is charging from the USB port. One thing to mention though is that if you intend to charge the phone and both batteries, you must plug in the phone first before you plug in the other two batteries. The serial charging feature will kick in, charge your phone first, then if you have the Exera case on, the battery on the case, and then finally it'll charge the two slim batteries that's on the dock. And that's probably the most complicated thing about the unit. Other than that, charging's a breeze. So now that we've seen the charging process, we're going to take a look at the actual application of the system in practice. So suppose we've been out and about all day and we've completely drained the battery in our Exera case. We're nowhere near a wall adapter. We've got a meeting coming up and we've got no time to charge our phone. Well, then all we have to do is pop out the battery inside the case, pull a fresh new charged battery, pop it back in, make sure that we align the connector holes with the connectors, and snap it into place. And there you go. We've got a fresh new fully charged battery case on the go. Using this system, we've effectively quadrupled the battery life of our phone. And because the battery cells are so slim, I can imagine someone carrying a bunch of these and never have to worry about plugging in their phone or being tied down by cables. In fact, I went on a 3-day business trip recently, charged my phone only once, and had coworkers asking to borrow my uNu to charge their phones. You know, it's really rare that I come across a gadget that I really like, but I gotta say, the dual charging dock just solves so many of my problems that there's really nothing to dislike about it. It's a great product, relatively inexpensive, and for what it does, is extremely invaluable. So definitely a worthy buy. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.